Hi and welcome to this video tutorial of nPro. In this video I would like to show you how you can import PDF and image files into nPro, extract the data on building shapes and network shapes, and then do the import to have them in nPro and then do the simulation. So let's have a look how that works. I will let's have a look at my screen here. So for doing this, you need a software called QGIS. QGIS is a open source free software that you can just download and is used worldwide by many different companies and institutions. Here I have the German version, but I think it's not really difficult to understand how it works in the English version. So in the first step, we make a double click on OpenStreetMap here. Then we have this world map. And in this video, I will have an example where we will import building. And this is a image file here from a German village. It could be also a PDF. And we will, and this, the buildings here in red are a new build area, and the gray buildings are already existing. And if you have only this plan, you can, right now at least, you cannot import this directly to nPro. You need to georeference first this image here, extract the data about the polygons, and then import GeoJSON files into nPro. So let's have a look how that works. So first I will zoom a little bit in here, and we will go to the location where this village is. I think it's over here, yes. So we see here this cathedral or this little church, and we will see here as well the little church, and there's the new build area. And now we can click here on, let's have a look on layer, and then georeferencing, and then a new window will open up. Here, I'm not sure, maybe we can also, yeah, we can just drag and drop the image here into the new window. And now we have to define different points. So for example, we can go to the church, and we see that the church is in this image, or in this, this map here, as well as in the OpenStreetMap. So what we can do is to click on the, for example, this corner here, the left corner of the church, once, and then it will ask, okay, let's define what is the coordinate of this corner point here. Then we can click here aus Kartenansicht, it means like from map view. And then we can click on the left corner of the church. And then we will have now defined where is the point in the georeference system. And this can be done with other points as well. So for example, we can take the top point of this building here, we click on it once. Then we say from the map view, and then we go to the building, that's this building here, click on the top corner point and say okay. And this is how you can define multiple points here. We now have 2 points, and normally it's better to have at least 3 points. So let's have a look. What else do we have here in the map? For example, we have this building here, which is this building. And let's take here the top point of it. So if we click on this point, then the button, and then we click here, for example, on the top point. The more points we have, the more accurate it will be. So let's make a minimum example here with 3 points, but of course we could have even a few more. And now we can click here on the play button on the top and say, let's start it. Then it will say, please set a export name. I click on OK, and then we can put a name here if we want to. Then I click again on OK, and then again on the play button. And then it will say, okay, now we successfully created the georeference. And if we did this, then we can close the small window and we go to the main window of QGIS again. There we see that the image now is placed in this OpenStreetMap view. And we can see that it's not only placed, but it's also a bit distorted and screwed so that it really fits into that it's the best or the optimized georeferenced location of this image in this georeferenced OpenStreetMap. And we see here, for example, the street aligns pretty well, and also this street aligns well with this image. And now we can actually draw the buildings. So we can now make here a right click. We can go to the top and say a new shape file layer. We click here on the top, and then we can give it a name. Let's say it's buildings. And then we need to define the geometry type. The geometry type would be polygon, because we want to add some buildings, and buildings are always polygons for us. Then we click on OK. And then we can draw the polygons. So we make a right click on the layer here on the left, say edit status, something like this in English. And then we can click here on this icon. It means add new polygon object. And if we click on it, then we can go to the map and draw our first building here. With a left click, we can just go around the building and then do a right click. Say then a small window opens up with the ID. We can just ignore this, click on OK, and then we would have our first building in the map. We can do this for more buildings, of course. Let's draw another one here. Right click to finish it, then on OK. And now again, left click, left click, left click, and then right click. And then we have the building on the map. And the more accurate you do it, the better the result will be. So let's go with the 4 buildings here. We can now say right click on this shape, on this layer, then click on export, and then say save objects as. And if we click here, then we can give it a file name. And in this case, I will call it buildings. It's a GeoJSON file, that's important. And then we can click on OK. And now we exported this file. And I think I saved it somewhere. Let me see. Yes. Okay, I will find it. Yes. GeoJSON file. No, actually, I need to export it again. Sorry about this. Let's click again on export. I put it on the wrong file here. Let's call it buildings again. Then choose the file. Go to the folder, save it again, and then click on OK. All right, and now we can go to nPro. So let's open up the software. We will create a new district project here, create new project, give it a project name. Project type is district. And then let's take as location Augsburg, because that's close to the location where we are. Create new project. And now we can go to upload GIS data on the bottom. And here we click on create new buildings. Go because we have them in a file format. GeoJSON is correct. Then we click on select file. And then we click on buildings.geojson and on upload file. And now it will read the file and see, okay, there are 4 polygons in the file. And there are not many information about the buildings. Here, the buildings could also have additional parameters, something like area or heat load or heat demand. Right now, we didn't define anything in the QGIS, so we will just import the geometries. Click here on import data. And then it will say, okay, we imported 4 buildings. And there's a little trick here. If you go to project data on the project data side and then back to district, then it will automatically zoom into this site where we just drew the buildings. That's the first step. So the second step would be the heat network. In case you want to import the heat network, of course, you can also draw it directly here in nPro. But if you want to import it from a PDF or image file, then you can do this as well, because sometimes, of course, sometimes you have the network already in the file, and then you want to not draw it here in nPro, but you directly want to get it from the PDF, for example. So for this, we go back to QGIS. Here we say we click on the top. Sorry, we click on the top on a new shape file layer. There we say we call it network. File name is network, and the geometry type is line. That's important, line. And then click on OK. And now we can add lines. So let's click on change the edit status. And now we can click here on add line object on the top. And now we just draw the heat network. So we can go, for example, here along the streets. But of course, if there would be a network already in this file, we could also draw it according to the image. Then we click on OK. Sorry, then on the right click, then on OK. And then we can also connect the buildings. And there's also a little trick. So I would suggest that you go from the network into the building. So not to the border of the building, but a little bit into the building, because then the import would be a little bit smoother in nPro. The building would be directly connected in nPro if the connection goes into the building and not only until the wall. We can then click on OK. Can do the same with the other buildings. So we make a left click here, then a left click somewhere into the building, make a right click. And of course, you can also make it more sophisticated. So if you say, okay, the line should be something like this, and then, I don't know, something like this, then you can also do this. Just with the left click, then the right click to finish the line object. And then we make a last one here, with the left click, with the left click, and with the right click. All right. Now we have also the lines in this view here as a layer. We can also visualize it and deactivate all other layers, for example. Then we see what we have here as the heat network. We can now click on make a right click on the layer of the network, then click on Save Objects As. Here we use the GeoJSON file, we call it network. And let me browse into my folder. Then we export it as a network.geojson, click on OK. And then we can go back to nPro. And here we can now click on Upload GIS data again. So we take the first option, create new buildings. And here we choose GeoJSON file. So with this option, create new buildings, you can import a GeoJSON file which contains building shapes and also network shapes. So if there are buildings inside the file, it will import the buildings. If there are buildings and also network information, it will import also the network information if you click on this checkbox here, import line objects as network sections. Then it will also look for line objects in the GeoJSON file and tries to import them as well. In this example here, now in the second step, we have a GeoJSON file that only contains line objects. This is okay. We don't have any building, but then we can also import the line information. I will now browse to the file network.geojson. We can click on upload file. And then it will say, okay, we did not find any buildings. That's okay. The file only contains network information or line objects. And here we see that we found 5 new network sections, so 5 line objects. And we can then click here on import data. Then it will say, okay, we imported the 5 network sections. And here we go. Now we have the buildings as well as the network sections. And it will add the lines one by one. So if the line goes into the building, it will automatically connect the building to the network. Here you see that it's red. So it would be the same as if we would draw it here directly in nPro. Let's show this. So it would be the same as if you go from here then into the network, into the building, then it would be also directly connected. All right. So yeah, that's the procedure how you can import PDF information into nPro. If you have an image file with an area, some buildings, maybe a network, you can use QGIS, free and open source software, to georeference the PDF or the image file, then draw the buildings as well as the network if you want to, and then import the information into nPro. If you have any questions about this process, feel free to comment below the video or write us an email. We try to help you as good as possible. And yeah, then thank you very much for your attention and see you next time.